Hey SnapFlash fam, welcome back. Today's story, Botswana's political déjà vu. 1 year after the UDC swept into power on a promise of change, critics say the new government is starting to look a lot like the old one. Let's unpack what's going on and why history might be looping back on us. Is Botswana really rewriting its future, or just repainting the same old political script in new colors? Because from constitutional reforms to rising intolerance, the red flags are looking awfully familiar. Before we dive deeper, hit like, subscribe, and tap that bell so you never miss a SnapFlash update. President Duma Boko built his campaign on inclusive, people-driven constitutional reform. But in office, critics say the process has become centralized, rushed, and happening without clear consultation. The same accusations once thrown at the BDP.
I've dealt with the cardinal principles underpinning the establishment of a constitutional court. What the bill presents, in addition to the establishment, are matters of detail, the structure, other corollary changes that must take place, situating the constitutional court at the top, and all those issues. The issue of certiorari that I've mentioned is not covered there. So the bill itself will require some improvement in those regards. And there are others that can be added. What I'm dealing with here are the underpinning considerations why it is imperative to have a constitutional court. Is a matter of detail, which we will deal with. Jaanong, dikgang tse tsa gore go nne le constitutional court di botlhokwa mo go gakgamatsang. E botlhokwa constitutional court. Ne kere ko South Africa ba tsere 7 years. Ga re itse rona go a gore tsa nako e kae. Ha gore tsa 3 years, 4 years re bo re tshwere constitution ya. Mo dingwageng tsonetse ba ditshwanelo tsa bone re bonang gore di tla dintse di tsulolwa. A re le sehela go tswelele. A re le sehela go tswelele. Ra bona gore ga go dirage sentle. Ra bona gore ditshwanelo di a gatakiwa. Mme nya re siamela re tata re baakanya seemo se ngwaga tse 5 tse di tang. Nya ba garo. Ra re se baakanya gompieno. The substantive review of the Constitution, the establishment of a court is in fact predominantly an adjectival matter. It's not a substantive legal matter. Structure. Structural ambition. Do we have the right institutions to carry the kind of society that we want? A human rights-based society. And that is why the issue of the constitutional, it is in controversy. You can't argue against it. On what basis, really? What do you say? What do you say? Oh, people have not been consulted. The Botelo Commission, page 141 says, the people say, they themselves want a constitutional court. What say you? So your proposition that the people have not been consulted explodes. It evaporates. It requires to be stated only to be rejected. That's what it is. The people want a constitutional court. A constitutional court is absolutely essential so that people's rights are vindicated, they are protected. This is the debate. This is the pith and substance of the debate. Bring all the law.
Clarification.
A re supporteng se re se buang ka mabaka ka di re site re bue gore go mo keng mathata keng re ska rata hela ba ga rona.
One opposition MP put it bluntly, those who think they are the smartest cannot just come to Parliament and expect leaders to do as they please. Former High Court judge and opposition MP Unity Dow didn't hold back. She accused the president of disregarding procedure and speaking to MPs and citizens with contempt. Her line that's now trending across social media: "The president is an equal opportunity insulter. Lawyers, teachers, digosi, it does not matter." Dow says this kind of leadership dehumanizes the citizenry.
Boammaaruri ke gore re mo gare ga go hetola molao motheo, mme re o hetola ka tsela e leng gore ga e akaretse botlhe. La ntlha se re na le ngongorego le sona, la itse gore molao motheo ga se wa me, ga se wa gago wena o reditseng, ga se wa gago wena moruti, ga se wa gago wena tautona, ga se wa gago wena mo palamente, ke wa rona rotlhe. Gore re ka moso re dumela molao motheo kwa rona, re tshwanetse go nne le therisano pele ga mogopolo o ka tlisiwa mo palamenteng. Motho o kgona go nna botlhale o gaisa matlhale otlhe. Mme boammaaruri ko le lone letlhale lone leo le tlhoka ba e leng gore ba tsile go amiwa ke go dirisa botlhale jo jwa bone gore go nne e re ka moso ba re letlhale le se ba se dirang ke se rona re mo rumileng ka sone. Letlhale ga le ka tla go palamenteng ka molao motheo o ile ga wa reriswa wena go dikgonyo sa itse re wa reng, wena go rasa sa itse re wa reng, go be go te re re e more kanya bobedi. Parlamente na le tsamaiso, re bona tsamaiso e sulwa mo malatsing maloba e sulwa so ha re hetsa sona gompieno se e sulwa beso go na le tsamaiso ya gore mongwe le mongwe yo o bua mo parlamenteng o bua ha go rileng ebile o bua le ba le lekane. Gompieno ta utona sa mo parlamenteng hela melao yotlhe belwa ha thoko ga te e morena a ba bua ja ka rata la we helo. So se ba tla go se bua kere ba mmaru ke gona gore go tlhabisa ditlhong gore gompieno e be le yone debate e tswetswe go buile batho ba le bararo a le mongwe hela o le Unity Dow ile yana bila na la kgaolo re mo kgona gana kgaolo re tautona na la kgaolo tsa rona yo mongwe o le ndike sa ga bua ga ne tota na le buga hela ne se go bua mme ba mmaru ke gona ga re ka gata ka lona gatola. The next 4 years are going to be very, very difficult. La we hero ne krebeso. Ha ke tswala le mo ka ntse go le mo na he. Tautona is an equal opportunity insulter. Ko gore a o lawyer, a o khosi, a o mo huta bana ko yubi kana we o judge. Hela ha tsa mai ke gore o tshwantse gore le sotlolone a tswe ka lone. Ne krebeso ba le gaufi le ene. Mo reriseng gore Botswana ba rata maitseo gate maitseo na mane ya moroba maitseo na mane ya moroba ke a leboga.
Police and protesters clashed outside Botswana's National Assembly in Gaborone just before the elections, as MPs debated a controversial bill that would have granted the president sweeping powers to appoint civil servants to key positions. Opposition MPs boycotted the vote, while protesters gathered outside with placards voicing their opposition. In the end, the remaining ruling party failed to secure enough votes to pass the bill.
What voted no?
Let's do manual, Mr. Speaker.
Manual what? Okay. We have voted, we are done with the voting. We are announcing the results. And the results, our members, even on the lowest denominator, which are 40.92. This is our material, which we have said it can only be 41. The bill has failed.
Opposition leader and current Speaker of Parliament, Dithapolo Keorapetse, said the bill, if approved, would have concentrated too much power in the hands of the president.
The 12th Parliament, Bahaito, has been, we have seen a shrink in the democratic space, both in Parliament and in the country. I'll start with yesterday's example, constitutional review. We have asked when they started that, look, the method of constitutional review cannot be done in the manner that they sought to do. in terms of the Commissions of Inquiries Act, the president is one of the regressive laws in the country. The president, under that law, is empowered to appoint a commission of inquiry on any matter. He is the one who puts the chairman, decides whether there's the deputy chairman, and will appoint that deputy chairman, appoints commissioners single-handedly, and decides when it will start its job and when it will finish. The law says that whilst it is still, inquiring, he can even stop it and say, no, this is where you end. He drafts the terms of reference for the commission and directs whether it will sit in private or in public, whether it sits in camera or in public. And then, once it has done its job, it is up to him when he receives the report whether to publish it or to make it confidential, make it his own report alone. Even acting on the report is up to him whether government will act on the report. I'll give you an example of Lesotho Commission. We know that the report was public. The Cabo Commission, the Christie Commission, the reports were public. Monte Commission remains secret on the land disease slaughter campaign in the Ngamiland. It remains secret. So, for the president to invoke the provisions of the Commissions of Inquiries Act to kickstart or as the main platform to review the Constitution was wrong, in the sense that it's a clearly undemocratic law which gives power to only one person. So we objected from the beginning. And we said, as the UDC, we're not going to participate as a political party, because we knew from the very beginning that this was an undemocratic process. But nevertheless, we attended the Kota meetings as members of parliament, and the public, we encourage the public to go and listen, so that tomorrow they don't say we deprive them of an opportunity to go and interact. So by the and they were clear, we want direct election of the president. It didn't happen. They said we want second generation of human rights. We want land rights. We want water and electricity to be rights enshrined in the Constitution. We want education and health to be enshrined in the Constitution. The right to be employed must be in the Constitution. And so on and so forth. They said, both specially elected, that there was a lot of money being spent on specially elected members of parliament and councillors. All these things were not incorporated into the report and the white paper and the bill. What we saw was what the government sought to give with the right hand in terms of second generation of human rights, the right to withdraw labor, the right to be employed, the right to education, and the right to health. But the same bill took away that which it gave with the right hand back with the left hand by imposing restrictions. What kind of a right is that? What kind of a right is that? So we objected from the beginning on the process and even on the substantive, but the government did not listen. So it's just one example how the democratic space shrank.
Minister for State President Cabo Morweng blamed the opposition and civil society organizations for misleading the nation on what he called a progressive bill.
How buaka the rights, fundamental rights, ne reletsa gore tshwanelo right ya health botsogo e nne mo motheo ka rona so se is highly progressive. Ne re eleditse gore mo tsamaisong ya legatse la rona mo molao motheong wa rona kanya education in the right, fundamental right. Honemo ka rona e ne go le very progressive. Ka rona ne re eleditse gore mo billing yone ya rona e ne re tla ka yone ne re eleditse gore go bereka e nne tshwanelo le yone e nne a right. So ka nna ha re bua ka tshwanelo ya thuto as a right, thuto, tsa botsogo le tsa go bereka. Tsone tse tharo tse ke di baya le sekai. Ke di tshwanelo tse e leng gore ka rona the bill was very, very progressive. Ne re tla ka diphetogo tse e leng gore ka rona Batswana ba ntse ba di eletsa. Batswana ba buile ka tsone. Mme gone mo ke ne re eleditse jalo ebile Batswana ba tshwentse ba itse gore that's what was included, that what was in the bill. Yone e leng gore bangwe maabane ha re tlhopha bana ba tsa tshwetso ya gore bone ga ba di tsene ga ba tsene kgang ya gore re tsenye mo constitutioneng ya lehatshe kgang ya botsogo le education le go bereka gore go nne mo molao motheo. Nna ne re dumela jalo ebile re ntse re dumela yalo gore parlamente e dinaile Batswana tshwanelo tse di botlhokwa thata tsone tse tharo tse. They're very basic. Mpolella gore ke mo go more progressive ha re bua ka go tsenya health, education le go bereka.
Then came the unions. The BFTU submitted a detailed position paper warning that the constitutional review is being run from the office of the president, not parliament, and risks lacking legitimacy. They also reminded the nation that most commissions of inquiry in Botswana end up ignored. In a rare show of unity, more than a dozen organizations, from Bokongo to Bofapuso to the Botswana Council of Churches, rejected Amendment Bill 14 of 2025, calling it rushed, unclear, and lacking civic consultation. Their message? The Constitution must be for the people, by the people, and with the people. If all this sounds familiar, it is. Masisi's constitutional amendments crashed in 2024 for the same reason: secrecy, executive control, and no consultation. Civil society killed that bill.
From the beginning of the process, Bokongo has always reiterated that we want a process that is inclusive. We say inclusive because we are the ones who work with communities. We know our communities' needs, and we also know their challenges. And therefore, that is why inclusivity was very important to us. And as we have maintained, the process, according to us, was not inclusive. We have also lamented that we want a constitutional review process to be participatory. And we have maintained our stance, and we still do, even this morning, to say we want to see a process that is participatory. We've also maintained that we want to see a process that is people-centered. And we reiterate that what has happened, in our view, was not people-centered, because the interests of the people were not put at the forefront in the way that we would have expected. We have extended a hand to government to say, as civil society, we believe we are a partner in development, but most importantly, we play a critical role in a democratic state as our own. And therefore, civil society participation cannot be wished away and cannot be understated. So we have since had a meeting with Honorable Minister of State President Re Murain. And we have offered that as civil society, we want to be engaged, but not just be engaged as a matter of tokenism. We want to be engaged meaningfully, understanding that we bring to the table very critical issues that come from the community. A lot of times our voice as civil society has been questioned, and I want to take this opportunity to remind those who may have, I'm trying to find the most diplomatic word, have forgotten who we are. When civil society speaks, when Congo speaks, is the people's voice, and it has to be respected as such.
And now, they're back, fighting the same fight under a new administration. Legal experts, unions, churches, they're all saying the same thing. Reform without public trust is doomed. And trust cannot grow in a climate of insults, secrecy, and political intolerance. Meanwhile, even the former ruling party, Botswana Democratic Party, BDP, joined in saying the BDP's statement, issued this week, strongly backed the walkout, arguing that the government is rushing a piecemeal approach that threatens the spirit of democratic constitutional reform. The BDP argues that the process should not begin with structural changes, but with comprehensive public consultation, a view echoed by the Botswana Council of Non-Governmental Organizations, Boko, and the Ntlo ya Dikgosi, House of Chiefs. The process of a constitutional review must begin by gathering the public's views, not by imposing government-initiated structures, the BDP statement read, accusing the government of ignoring advice given to all MPs by legal experts. The former ruling party's views are backed by experience, as its former presidential affairs minister, also like the current president, fought for the bill to pass through even with protests against it outside Parliament last year. Do you think the UDC is repeating the BDP's mistakes? Or are these just early growing pains of a new government? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you're getting value from this breakdown, smash like, subscribe, and hit the bell. It helps us bring you the stories that matter. Botswana has been here before. 2 governments, 2 constitutional reviews, and the same public frustration. Whether the UDC learns from history, or repeats it, will shape Botswana's democracy for years to come. Thanks for watching SnapFlash. Stay sharp, stay curious, and as always, keep questioning, stay informed.
Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.